Hey everyone, are you thinking about buying your first bag at the moment? Or maybe not even your first or your second, or you're working on your collection? There are some things which I wish I did right back in the beginning when I started my collection that I didn't do because I didn't really know about, and I didn't really educate myself. I just used to go ahead, and the first bag I bought it because I loved it, and then it ended up dating really badly. Let me go and get it and I will show you it and you will see why it dated. Are you ready for this? This is my first bag. And can you see what I mean? When I talk about buying bags that are trends, no, not trends. When I talk about buying bags that aren't classic, this is what could happen to you. You could end up with a bag that you absolutely loved when you first saw it, but then give it a few years and it's not something that you wear, is very Y2K. I actually bought that in 2012, but whenever I look at it, it really reminds me of year 2000s. Anyway, the first thing you absolutely have to do, and you need to avoid not doing this, is before you go and jump in and buy your bag, make sure that you actually check that functionally it is something that you're happy to get on with. So for example, on that particular bag that I've just shown you, another reason why I never used it very much is there is a zip there, which is not easy to open and close. See what I mean? It's really heavy as well, really heavy. I'm not even gonna try and zip that closed. Furthermore, once you had zipped it closed, there is this flap which goes over the top and clips into this section here. And you have to do it up, because if you do not, I always find this with Louis Vuitton hardware, and I'm going to come on to that as well, but if you do not, the actual metal bit on here scratches on there, and that is scratched. There are scratches on there, and I never really used this bag very much because that was another thing. It wasn't until I bought it that I thought about dye transfer. It's another thing to consider. Some really popular bags right now that I'm just going to give you a bit of information on in case you're thinking of buying any of these. First of all, it's the gorgeous Bottega Jodie bag, which I really like this bag, but do I use it that much? When I first got it, I used it a lot, but I discovered that the zip closure was just as annoying as that Louis Vuitton there. So the bag is open at the moment, but the zip closure is tucked right into each corner, which you can just about see there. And there we go. The zip is really, it's not very easy to open and close. And then if you want to open it again, there you go, it's open. So when I use this, I don't even close it. I leave it open, and sometimes your stuff spills out. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is with your first bag, make sure that before you go ahead and buy it, whether you've bought it online like I did with this, before you take the labels off, try things like the zips, make sure your stuff fits in it, make sure that you are functionally happy with the bag before you take the labels off and you keep it. Even if you're going into a store, this is one thing I would always say. Check things like flap closures. Are they really annoying? Check things like zips. Are they really stiff to open and close? Bags like this, which is the Mulberry Bays water bag. A bag that I've shown you before. I didn't really look very closely at it before I bought it. There's something I've stopped myself doing now. Before I buy anything, I really look closely. But can you see this, the black piping around the edges? It's not straight. It should be like this, there. But then if you move up slightly, it's wonky, it's gone off alignment. Whoever was doing this did not have their, they were not attention to detail on the day. Make sure you check for stuff like that. Yeah, just to jump in and show you, things such as this is how it should be, so it's pretty much perfect. But then it goes up here, and this bit is quite a bit thicker than down here, so it doesn't really feel that right. But also on the flap, hopefully you can see, just there, and on other bits of the bag, the black rubber edge has actually gone over and is on the front of the bag. It hasn't, you know, it should be really neat along these edges, and it's basically not. Do not settle for second best. If you are saving your money, it's taking ages. As you're saving, price rises are happening. So just when you think you're nearly there, the prices have gone up a bit more and you're still saving. It can be really tempting to give up on what it is that you really want and spend that money on shoes, small leather goods like wallets, vanity cases, costume jewellery, other cheaper bags that you don't really like, but you're like, well, you know, it's a bag and I want a designer bag. Don't do it, because you will end up regretting it, and you will end up having to start again from scratch with your saving to get what it is that you really want. When it comes to saving as well, I've got the best tip when it comes to saving, and it's worked for me on everything. Like my house, my bags, my cars, everything, this works for me. And even when I was paying off my debt, this is the thing that I used to do. Grab yourself a piece of paper, or do this on the computer, it's going to look nicer, and draw yourself a timeline, and then on the timeline write 0 at the bottom of it, and at the top of it write the total amount that you are wanting to save up, and then draw through it, draw little lines so that you've got benchmarks the whole way through. When you've done that, use that graph. I normally draw a thermometer kind of shape, and then stick it on your wall. Make sure you have it in your eyesight every day. Don't have it screwed up somewhere, because you'll end up not using it. And as you save, colour in the lines as to where you've got to. It feels really rewarding when you can see visibly where you're up to, but I feel like it also keeps you on track. It keeps you really focused. And what I always have done with my salary is that I take my bills, I add all of those up, I add onto it like food, groceries, utility bills. Anything I have left goes into a savings pot, and then if I choose to buy anything or anything like that, that money's there, and that is what I would suggest to do. Any extra money you have left over each month, put it into a savings pot. My savings account, I don't have a card, so I can't go and spend on it. I have to actually log into a separate account, and it makes it more difficult for me to just pick money out of it. Normally I take money out of it when there's something that I want to buy. Do that. Let's say you've gone into a boutique and you're not buying online, you've gone into a boutique. Don't feel pressured to buy the first bag that you see. So let's say you've gone in there because there's a certain bag and you think you really like it. You go to ask with the full intention of buying it, but actually when you see it, there's something about it you don't like. Actually, you don't like the size of it, it doesn't happen to fit all of your stuff, the opening closing's not good, you don't like the quality. Sometimes in that situation, you can feel under pressure to buy it because you feel like you don't want to have wasted the time of the sales associate. And always never do that. Always avoid doing that, because you going ahead and buying it, you're not going to truly enjoy that purchase. Another really big thing, and something that I didn't do with this bag, when you buy something, try and imagine yourself in 5 years from now. Do you think that you're really still going to like the bag you're about to buy? Do you really think you're still going to use it? And do you really think it's something that's going to be in style? Now, on this channel, we talk a lot, and when I say we, I include you guys, because to me, you are the channel, but also I love talking to you. I find a great sense of well-being, actually. It's very weird. I find a sense of well-being when I talk to you all in the comments, and when I write back to you, when you write to me. I really enjoy it. And so when I say we, I mean that you and I have spoken before about the trend bag thing. And I think trend, is it trend or is it classic? Are we talking about something that's a 5-minute wonder and it's really popular on Instagram and it looks amazing, but next year it's kind of had its day? And we talk a lot about whether that matters. Does it matter that you buy something that you love today, but tomorrow it might be out of style? And I know that for some of you, you actually tell me that, such as bags like the one I've just shown you, you might say, I'd still use that, I'd still wear it. But for others, it's not the same case. And I find that a really interesting way of looking at the whole thing. And I always think with classic bags, try and buy a classic, because even if you don't like it in 5 years, you can sell it and you can get decent money for it. Whereas if I try to sell what I now think is rather ghastly, that Louis Vuitton bag, I'm not going to get much money for it, because not only is it very dated, but functionally it's annoying, and who's really going to be going online and searching for such a bag? Not many people. Whereas if you've bought something like a classic flap, or even Louis Vuitton Alma BB, like bags that they always make, even if you go off them, you're always going to be in a position where you can put them up for sale, and they're still going to be in people's minds. People are still going to be looking for them. So I definitely think when you buy your bag, never just jump into it because you love it. Really, really think about it. 5 years from now, am I still going to like it? 5 years from now, if I don't like it, will I be able to sell it, or will I lose all of my money? And like me, I'm stuck with a bag that I'm never going to use that again. Even if it comes back in style again, functionally it's so annoying. And it was a bag that was not cheap, it was very expensive. I'm not going to see that money back again at all. So make sure that you think about all of this kind of stuff, because if this is going to be your first and only bag, you don't want to outlay all of that money and end up with something that you don't like that much. Make sure your stuff fits. Before you go and keep the bag, make sure that you transfer all of the things that you normally carry around with you and put it into the bag. I've spoken about this before, which is this is the mini size Lady Dior. Am I glad I got it? Actually, I am. I love the look of it, and I use this a lot in the evenings now. But this is something that I didn't try before I bought it, to put my stuff in it. And actually, it's okay now because I've got smaller phones, but my regular phones would hang out the top, and that flap bit wouldn't even close. I should have checked that in the shop. I actually bought this in lockdown, so I didn't get to check it, but I should have checked it when I opened it. Would I have sent it back? Probably not, because I really like it, but it's another thing to do before you jump in and buy a bag. Make sure you put your stuff in it. Is it something that's going to really annoy you, or is it something that's actually perfect for your lifestyle? They are the things you absolutely need to avoid before you go ahead and buy your first bag. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that there's something in this which has given you some ideas, and I hope fundamentally that there are bits in this video, if you know, whether it's all or whether it's just a little bit, I hope there's stuff in this video that helps you migrate to the bag that's actually right for you and that you end up using for years to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.